What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmar here, and welcome into another video. Dave's Big Board. We're looking at what this guy, Dave Oster, thinks about some of the positions in the NBA draft. Remember, if you have not already, become a patron today. Support the channel. Make sure we can keep doing these videos for you guys. That link is down below. Also, the MVP Discord, greatest community in the universe. You can join it right now. That link in the description as well. Dave, this is in the order we're recording these. These are 5. I've asked you 4 times. I'm going to ask you again. How you doing tonight? We're getting late. We're getting late. We got 2 more, baby. 2 more.
I am up past my bedtime. It's about 79 degrees in here finally, which still feels incredibly hot. And I didn't get water in between these shows, so my voice is going to get hoarse. Well, I got a little agitated during the small wings. So if you want to see that, you want to see Dave get heated.
If you haven't checked that out, you have to. We're talking about big wangs here. This is your 50 piece of wangs. Dave, before you give your list, I'll let you go through the descriptor because you usually do. So take it away.
Yep. So basically, this is for anybody who is, capable of sliding down to the 3, but also can play the 4, and even in some situations, and I know there's a category for it later, where I mentioned small ball 5, but like worst case scenario, could they maybe play small ball 5? It's a stretch for most of them, but there might be a couple guys who can fit in that situation. But basically, just we're looking at guys with great size, prototypical size for what the NBA wants. We want more Jalen Tatums, we want more LeBron Jameses, we want more guys who are just built
Kevin Durant?
Different. Yeah. Okay. Kevin Durant. We would love more Kevin Durants. Would you like more Kevin Durants? I would like more Kevin Durants.
I mean, Warrior Kevin Durant, not son Kevin Durant.
Like Michael Porter Jr. without the injuries?
Yes.
Aaron
Gordon.
Gordon.
More of that, please.
Like, we're talking about that size of a player. We're talking about the guys who play the wing, and they play damn well. So, with that said, my wing order for big wings. Brandon Miller, as no surprise to anyone, at number 1 because he's just that good. Whatever he did off the court, don't care, not talking about today. Leonard Miller is my number 2. Might be a surprise to a lot of people because G League Ignite flying under the radar still somehow, but he is a stud. I've got Jarace Walker at number 3. I've got Taylor Hendricks at 4. Ryan Rupert at 5. Chris Murray at 6. Bobby Klintman at 7. Jalen Slauson at 8. Omax at 9, Kobe Brown at 10, Gigi Jackson at 11, Amoni Bates at 12. Really just dragging down the whole class right now. Jalen Wilson at 13, and then Ricky. Go ahead, take it away. Who's the last man on the list?
The Bagman Jr. Marcus Bagley.
Marcus Bagley. There's a negative chance that man gets drafted. Can I bet on people not getting drafted? Is that an option in DraftKings or something?
I don't know. I know that they
bet against people. That feels more spiteful. Like I would do it. I'd like to bet against.
Will this player go undrafted?
Can you tell Dave bets the unders?
You do love your unders.
I do.
Dave, out of your list though, the guy I want to start with is a guy you have high.
Yeah.
There's in the mock draft realm, a lot of people are high on this guy, but teams might not have to trade up for him. The main team is the Thunder that I see him linked to. Leonard Miller.
Yeah.
Like you have him at 2. There are people that are very high on this guy. The only thing that I'm questioning is a lot of people have him going to the Thunder, but then they expect the Thunder to trade up. So, like, to me, it's like, okay, where's this guy going to land? And are some people thinking of him too low? Should he be higher on boards than he is being a late teener?
Yeah, I think he is slid under the radar because remember last year when everybody during the draft, like combine stuff was like, there's this kid out of Canada who's kind of weird. Like, he's super long, weirdly leggy, like got kind of a good handle for somebody his size. And then we all got to watch him play and we're like, oh, there's something there, but he is way too raw to touch. Like maybe I would use a 2 on him, and he did the smart thing and he did not declare for the draft. He went to the G League Ignite and he got a chance to shine this year because he was set up with one of the best point guard prospects we've seen in the last couple of years. and Scoot Henderson. Right out the gates, you got the Scoot Wemby matchup, and guess what? Scoot's not guarding Wemby. Scoot's not guarding Wemby. Leonard Miller got to help out guarding Wemby, and then game 2 of that matchup, where Scoot was out, unfortunate, Leonard Miller went off. And that was kind of the beginning of the, like, okay, the man is like, what was that? It's like a deer on skates right now. Yeah. But there's definitely talent there. And then we watched throughout the year, building muscle, continuing to add size, one of the best rebounders that I've seen. Like, from the wing position, he is fantastic. And he's someone who is versatile. He can play the 3, 4, 5. Like, he is, I would trust him in that situation to defend all of those positions. Like, he is versatile.
What are you? Mobile, agile, hostile.
The fact he's one of the best rebounders, he started to work on his facilitating game because you need that at the wing. You need to not be a ball stopper. You need to keep the ball moving. You need, even if it's just like hockey pass style, where you're not going to get the hockey assist, you know? You're not getting the assist yourself, but your pass leads to the pass that gets the point. And that is something that people are starting to look more into as a point of value, because smart passing is so valuable in the NBA. And you just, maybe that's why I'm saying out loud why I don't like Cam Whitmore very much, because he doesn't pass the ball.
Yeah, check out our small wangs to hear Dave talk about Cam Whitmore.
A lot. But it just feels like he is in the mold of someone like Pascal Siakam. He is someone who is a dangerous wing who can take the ball in his hands. He can pass. He can rebound very well. He can go downhill. He's working on his shot. I don't know that he'll ever be a 40% three-point shooter, but he can be a 35% three-point shooter for you. He will force teams to be honest with him. And I think that, like, I'm just super excited about what he can do. And because of his body, his length, his size, and his work in the G League Ignite in 1 year, how far he's come, it makes me very excited, because that's how it's a sign of how dedicated he is to his game of basketball. And
like, you expect him to continue that his rookie year of like, hey, I'm going to continue to work on my body, continue to get better.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of improvement in 1 year, and it's fantastic to see, because literally last year he was joked out about, like, you know, we take a flyer in the second, and now I'm like, hey, you're like the second best at what you do. Like, it's great.
Now, the next team, or the next duo, I should say, that I did want to go through with you.
Names are tied together everywhere.
Is, so you have them at 3 and 4. Like you said, they're tied together in Jarace Walker and Taylor Hendricks.
Yeah.
Like, from everything I've seen, it's basically mock drafts have Walker, Hendricks, usually Pacers, Wizards. Obviously, you have them the same way, Walker ahead of Hendricks.
Yep.
Is there a reason here? Are these two razor thin and it just depends on personal flavor of who you like better? Will say I'm surprised here, because I've heard you talk about Jarace a lot more. Like, I've heard you talk about Walker and him being overweight, and I was shocked to hear that Walker was ahead of Hendricks.
Yeah. Again, it kind of comes back to, the more you go back and watch older tape, the more I like Jarace Walker as a player. I think his time in Houston, he was a ultimate, like, I can do everything kind of a guy for them. He took tough assignments. He didn't end up getting a ton of shots up, but at the same time, like, it felt like he scored when they needed. He let Sasser kind of drive the offense, but he passed well. He kind of became just the do everything kind of a guy, while playing lockdown defense, like some of the best defense in college basketball. So, and again, we did get to watch these guys play each other twice. So kind of a cool thing. Hendricks I love because he is giant. He shoots threes, and he is a great weak side. Like, I'll come help defend the rim, which I think is a super valuable skill. I'm just a little, like, both these guys have some red flags, and I'll say this, they're flippable in my mind as well. Like, you mentioned that you're surprised I have it. Like, this is Well, today is 6-3 as we record this, and they're in this order in my head.
I'm surprised by it just because of what I've heard you say about Walker and like the criticism that I've heard is that he's overweight.
He's big and he's soft.
There's only one word to describe you, and I'm gonna spell it out for you. S-A-W-F-T.
Like, he doesn't use his body to get to the line. Someone who has his weight, his body, should be able to draw contact, should be able to get to the line, and should be able to put pressure on other teams' defenses, and should be able to generate more offense. He has not done that in Houston. Is that because of the role? Potentially. Is that because of the coach? Potentially. Is that just maybe he's not comfortable with that part of his game yet and using his body in that manner? I'm not sure. And that's one of the things where I have a question. But also, like, Taylor Hendricks has been notably criticized for his lack of finishing at the rim. He's a great dunker, but if he can't dunk the ball, coin flip or less that he's going to finish, like, I think 42% or something on his shots that weren't dunks within, I think, 6 feet of the rim or something like that. Like, he's just not a great finisher if it's not a YAM, which kind of concerning because you'd like to have somebody with his size able to finish at the rim. That would be ideal because he can get people out to that 3-point line and then beat them on the dribble. Yeah. He has a passable pump fake, which people will bite on because he's a great shooter. So, like, I love Taylor Hendricks. He is the ultimate, like, his 3-point shots all the way up and his, help rim protections all the way up. And then everything else, he got some gaps. Yeah. He's got some room to work. But Jerace in high school, Jerace at the U18, like, all his older stuff, I saw more game. I just saw more overall game out of him. So I think that what we're seeing in college is the best version of Jerace Walker. And that's what I want to believe. So that's why today he is up there just slightly above him because he's a switchable defender, 2 through 5, probably 3 through 5, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like he backpedals okay, but he needs to slim his body down. Like, I hate to be that guy, but like, dude, you can't play at that weight in the NBA. You need to work on your lateral quickness. You need to work on your foot speed.
Do you think he needs to cut weight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Because, like, I'm like, yet again, it's not the thing that I think about when I was listening to you talk about how, like, oh, with his size, you expect him to, like,
the dude weighs 250 at 6'6", Ricky.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, like, when you were talking about, like, oh, he should use his body to, like, body him down low. Yeah. My first thought was going to be like, oh, like how, and I'm going to say this, let me talk it through. Cause people, when you say names that are big, people automatically become keyboard warriors. I thought, like, oh, kind of like how, like, not to the same level, but kind of like how Shaq used to do. Cause Shaq would use his body. Yet again, it's not as big as Shaq, not as tall as Shaq. And that's maybe why it's like, okay, now the other route, he should cut instead of trying to play bigger weight.
Well, what about a contemporary Zion Williamson?
Yeah.
Someone who is a similar package size to him. Explosive athlete, though.
Yes.
Jerace is not that.
No.
But Zion was known to be well around that 300 mark. And that would, be a reason why he hasn't played basketball as much as he should have.
So the Pelicans should avoid him. Or avoid trading up for him.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that at 250 and at 6'6", it's a situation where I think he'd be a better player if he was a better weight. I think that
Zion is 284 right now at 6'6".
Sure he is.
Well, that's what Wikipedia says.
He was. We haven't seen him in a while, Ricky.
Okay,
good point. Last time we did see him, he did dunk, but then he proceeded to not play. So, people got feelings on that. But no, I just think, look, Jerace Walker's got the tools to be a good player, a very, very, very good player. But he is kind of like, if you watched him in college, you're like, what is he, like our 4th best player? Like on a championship squad, like 4th or 5th best player on a championship squad, maybe? He's the glue guy. He is a glue guy through and through. But then you go back and watch another tape, and you're like, he could be a monster though. Like we need to figure out what direction do you want to take his development in? I think is the biggest question. So that's why I'm a little concerned with where he goes. Like certain teams better, certain teams worse, obviously. I think that you have to be concerned about the weight, the size, and if you want him to guard fives, the size is fine. Work on his strength. Work on him, doing that. But again, he doesn't exactly have the craziest measurements. Like, I'm sorry, he does have the craziest measurements as far as like he can guard fives because he is that big and that strong. So like, sure, add strength. He's got a good wingspan. He's short, but he is stout.
Another guy that this is the other route, Dave. I'm giving you the podium to hate on him. Oh, and great. Our boy Retro from Down Under.
You'll have the time of your life in Australia. Of course, we talk the same language. Although you lot do have a funny accent.
Might want to cover his ears. You got Gigi Jackson very low. Very low.
Gigi Jackson stinks at basketball.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So, like Retro, I don't know what you're watching.
Dave's like, what are
I'm trying to. He was such a bad player for his team, and he was such a immature.
when you were pausing, I'm like, oh wait, I know what he wants to do.
I'm trying my damnedest right now. He was just he did not speak well publicly. That doesn't help his image. He did not play well. He played selfishly and then criticized the coach when he didn't get all the shots when it mattered, which again, for an 18-year-old who classified up to be in this draft class, it was just bad look after bad look. And defensively, he's terrible. Offensively, he is selfish. He's not a player that I would value highly, but a player with his size, his build, his measurables would be great. That's how you build a big power forward these days. Like all those things are great. You just have to figure out how to change the person that has all that.
Is there a situation, a team that could do that?
I mean, you could hope that like if you went on to like what pick in the second round of the Miami Heat have, Ricky? I don't know. Like put him on the Miami Heat. He'll either be fantastic or he will wash out of the NBA.
The Heat got their second round pick taken away, like us.
Yeah,
they have 18. They could take him at 18.
It's so crazy. Pat Riley might do it. I wouldn't even put it past him. Pat Riley could take Gigi at 18.
I mean,
sure.
I will say Gigi Jackson, mocked on Tankathon at 22. They have Leonard Miller going to the Heat at 18.
Oh my! I would love that. I would love that. But also, again, that's value. That's value for me because I've got him so high.
Yeah. But him with Jimmy.
I think Spo and the Heat culture. You would have to pay Udonis Haslem another. I get that he's not a player anymore. Hasn't been a player for a long time.
Just make him an assistant coach.
Officially, he'll take the pay cut again. It's fine. But you need somebody on JG's ass to teach him how to be an adult, how to be a professional, and how to give a about this game of basketball. Because he has so many God-given gifts. And I don't know if he's taking them for granted or we're just seeing the worst of it. I'd like to give kids the benefit of the doubt because you're 18. Of course you're going to be immature. Sure. You're going to say dumb publicly. But like, when that's the only things we see out of you are just consistently bad, you're not helping anybody, man.
Well, I mean,
it's disappointing. I'm not even mad. I'm disappointed. Hit him with the parent line.
I hope you're not mad.
No, I'm not mad.
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. And you just go, please be mad at me. Please tell me you're mad at me. Please just say you're mad at me.
Call me an idiot. Call me an idiot. Like, I understand. Like,
here, hit me, please.
Something.
Oh, it's like, please discipline me. Don't tell me you're disappointed. Any of the other guys that you feel like, I mean, like, so I will say this, Amoni Bates, go check out a draft.
Below him.
Like go check out a draft room of ours. We've talked about in depth about Amoni Bates.
He's a 6'8" shooter. Mm-hmm. Can you get more out of him? Maybe. Got to find out.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone else that you think should shed a little light on before we?
Probably Jalen Slauson.
Okay.
Again, I'm a big fan of upperclassmen. Shocking. COVID kind of messed with all recruiting.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like COVID messed with all of the expectations. It gave
everyone an extra year.
And it feels like people aren't taking age as a serious, or they aren't
overlook. They're not like just overlooking age.
Yeah, it feels like age no longer disqualifies players from being NBA talent. In the draft. Yeah. Jalen Slauson, he's a good player. He is toolsy. He's got good size. He's got a good shot. He can defend a couple positions. Like, he is someone who absolutely should be on an NBA roster next year. I'm not saying he's going to be your starter. I'm saying he is going to work his ass off on that bench unit and play some good minutes for you.
Yeah.
Like, I truly believe that he translates as a player to the NBA. I hope he gets that opportunity because he's at the point where, like, draft wise, I feel like he's mid-second on a lot of people's boards. A lot of people would have like Omax above him because of obviously his combine, his measurables, his defense, being able to trail. If you want like an example, if you watch the UConn game, Marquette UConn, Omax basically was able to blanket and move through the screen set up for Jordan Hawkins to try to contain him through the majority of that game. Like, when you watch Hawkins stop making shots, guess who was on him? Like, it's one of those things where you have to watch how well he picks up the game and how defensively he sees the ball and knows, like, hey, my guy is going to slip. My guy's trying to make a slip right now. He's trying to do a backdoor cut. He's trying to get around screens, and he will fight through. He will slide. He will whatever his way through things. And for a man of his size, being asked to do that, it's very impressive. His offensive skill set is growing. He's improving. So I think that he's someone who is probably going to be at the top of the second, if I had to guess. And he's someone who you would love to have because he's a high-effort defender, and his offensive kit is got some promise to it. So, like, absolutely want someone like that on your team.
Well, that'll do it for the Big Wangs. Let us know what you guys think down below, and also check out our other Dave Big Board videos. Remember, if you want to support us, check out that Patreon link in the description, and also the Discord. If you're not in it, join it. Link is in the description as well. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, have a good day, everybody. As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.